Alright, so in this video we're checking out the Hawkeye Little Pilot Flight Master 2. So at first, when I got this, I thought, oh, it's just a red version of the, this is a Little Pilot Master 1. And I thought, oh, it just has two receivers instead of one receiver. It says one receiver, and you see it has two antennas in this one. But it's totally different. There's no battery in this one. It requires external power via the USB-C port here on the side. It has a 3.5mm and a 2.5mm audio jack for video out. You get your three buttons here on the side for changing your band's channel power. And of course you have two receivers in here. So this is actually two separate receivers inside here, not antenna diversity. You get a circular polarized antenna and a whip antenna, and they are SMA. No tripod mount on the back, and this is metal, some kind of aluminum alloy, I think, construction for this receiver, and not plastic. But this is mainly targeting, I think, people that are flying the DJI FPV goggles and want some sort of an analog input receiver type of situation, which you could do with this little guy here, which I did show in a, and I'll link that video in the video description if you guys want to check it out. I actually had it like on the side of the goggle here like this, and it does work. It just has because it has internal power. You can just use the included cable to get the video out of this into the analog in on the DJI goggles and get analog video that way, but it's only a single receiver, so reception wasn't that great. So this monitor does come with a 2.5mm jack cable and a 3.5mm jack cable for the video out, as well as this Y harness power adapter with the basically for barrel plug connections, and then a barrel plug to USB-C connector for power. I think the power voltage range, yeah, here are the specs, and the voltage range is 5 volts to 26 volts on that USB-C port, so it can take a, I think, up to 6S battery. And then here's some of the other specs here: 960 by 240 resolution, 350 lux, and it's a 4:3 screen. Okay, so I'm going to quickly demonstrate how to get this to work with your DJI goggles. So USB-C to barrel plug adapter on one end. This is to power the screen and the receivers. And then we'll have power input here from the goggles. So I'm going to have to pull this plug out. And unfortunately, the power jack in the goggles is here while the AVN is over there. I wish it was the other way around. Otherwise, this right angle plug here isn't going to work so great. But I'm going to try and get it to work here. So plug that in over here. I'm going to take the 3.5mm jack on this side over here and plug that in over here. And then the last one is to plug in the barrel adapter into here. So you can see here, this is quite an ugly mess. There's probably a way to make a cleaner adapter by soldering up some wires up yourself. I'm not going to do that for this video, but if this is something that you really want to see, let me know in the comments below. If there's a lot of interest, then I might make a video later. But this is how you would set up the power for this and the AVN. And then I'll go ahead and plug in my battery so that I have power for all this. And the screen just turns on. There's no power on off button, it just automatically turns on. Okay, so I have a video source here transmitting. You can see it shows up on the screen here. There's a little bit of an OSD here, shows the voltage. The channel and band you're on is also RSSI for both of the receivers, the 99 and 96. Okay, so I switched it over to the AVN on the DJI goggles, and you can see here now we have our AVN video. So if you want analog video to your DJI goggles, this is one way to do it, and this is obviously a diversity receiver setup, so you're going to get better reception than the other monitor with just a single receiver. But yeah, the wiring solution is rather ugly looking. I think there's definitely, you could probably put together something custom that will make it look a lot better. Now in terms of the range of this, it's really going to depend on your video transmitter. So if you have a 2-watt video transmitter and fancy expensive antennas, you're going to get better reception. You're going to also want to swap out these antennas if you're going to be going very far away, and of course you want to have good antenna placement, as well as nice high quality antennas, as well as a high quality video transmitter and a video transmitter transmitting antenna as well on the quad to get the best possible reception. But at the end of the day, it's still just plain old diversity, so it's nothing too fancy. It's not bad, but it's not like rapid fire, so it's going to give you adequate video reception for most places. And again, this is really going to depend on the video transmitter and the antennas you're using. Alright, so the last piece of this set here that came was this little adapter that goes into the receiver bay of a Fat Shark style goggle. So it's not an actual receiver, but it actually just takes AV in and then basically transmit that video signal through this plug here into the screen, and it looks like you have basically a receiver, but it's actually this external receiver. But instead of using the 3.5mm plug, we're going to be using the 2.5mm plug, and I don't know why they did this, because they could have easily put a 3.5mm plug in here, but I think it has to do with the size of this hole, and the covers and stuff are going to be, I think this is where the antennas come out. So this is limited to the size of the hole for an SMA connector. So I think if they go 3.5mm, that's probably going to be too big. That's my guess as to why they did that. But this plugs into here. Obviously that plugs into the module bay. And then of course you've got the same power setup. Go ahead and plug this in here. And then we just need power. And again, rat's nest of wires, very ugly. Here's our video source still transmitting. And now we can see here we have video on our goggles. I forgot the name of what this goggle is. This is pretty old, but I just use this for demo purposes for various videos. But yeah, this is what the video looks like. And so obviously you could probably, like this goggle here has AV in right there. I think a lot of Fat Shark style goggles do. So I think that this setup here for this receiver module adapter is only useful for those goggles that have a receiver module like bay like this, but no AV in. Otherwise you can just use the 3.5mm jack and then switch to the AV in, and you'll get the same results as you did on the DJI goggles. This is just for those goggles that have the these sort of receiver module bays but no AV in on a 3.5mm jack. But that's pretty much it for this product. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, how useful this is going to be or not for your particular purposes. Yeah, interested to hear your comments on that. Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.